Hey y'all, you're watching Nerdsmerized. I'm Andrew, your host. This video today I actually want to do on my top 5 favorite animated superhero movies ever. So I'm going to just start it off right away. Number 5, I'm going to go with Green Lantern First Flight. If you haven't seen this movie, it's a great addition to any Green Lantern fans collection. It's all in all a great story. It shows the origin of Hal Jordan. It's just all in all action packed. You get to see Hal Jordan versus Sinestro, so you get to see the Green Lantern versus the Yellow Lantern. I mean, all in all, it's a great story, great movie. The animation and the action is really top notch, and I love it. It's just a great addition to any collection, and I'd suggest everyone go see it. I'm going to go straight into number 4. Number 4 on my list is going to be Batman and Superman: Public Enemies. If you haven't seen this, it's a really cool adaptation from one of a really good comic book actually, where Lex Luthor is elected the president of the United States, and basically, like we have in the X-Men universe, the Mutant Registration Act, he does that for the superheroes. Obviously, Batman's like, hell no, you don't ask Batman to do nothing. Batman's a BA. You don't fuck with Batman. Superman don't even fuck with Batman half the time. But he goes off. He does his little. They basically deny it. He's not going to do it, and Superman's never going to trust Luthor. So no matter president or not, he's still never going to trust him. He knows there's always an ulterior motive when it comes to Lex. So Superman and Batman, they basically set Superman up by using Metallo to make it look like he attacked the president, and Metallo was a Secret Service agent and protected him. But obviously the kryptonite was there to stop and hurt Superman. So basically that's why Superman and Batman become fugitives. So they put a big ransom out, and it actually sends all of Batman and Superman's villains from all over their universes in, and it just becomes everyone attack Batman and Superman. And it just becomes an ass-kicking fiesta throughout the entire movie. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a great movie. Lots of different aspects you can look at, and there's so many cool characters in there. I mean, Power Girl's in there, you got Black Lightning, you got a bunch of different awesome DC characters in that movie. So if you haven't seen it, check it out. Definitely need to check that one out. So I'm going to go for my number 3 choice, which is Batman Under the Red Hood. If you haven't read the comics, Death in the Family or Under the Hood, basically, not going to kill it for you, but you guys need to see it. It's a great movie. It's basically, the movie actually starts with the second Robin, Jason Todd, getting killed by the Joker, Batman losing his changlas, like Batman's going crazy and losing his mind, and then it fast forwards 5 years later. The Red Hood appears, starts controlling the drug cartels in Gotham, and Batman tries to stop him, just to find out that this guy is just as much of a badass fighter as he is, and he knows all his moves. So it turns out, if you haven't seen it, I don't want to ruin it for you, check it out. There's a big twist at the end of the movie that, if you've read the comics, if you've seen the movie, you know what it is, but if you haven't, check it out. Definitely worth checking out. It's a great movie. Yeah, definitely check it out. I want to tell you, but then I don't want to tell you, because it's just an awesome twist, and it makes for an amazingly interactive and just fun movie to watch. On the edge of your seat thriller, but lots of great action for an animated film. So yeah, check it out, definitely. My number 2 pick is actually going to be The Flashpoint Paradox. It's a more recent movie. It only came out like last year. It's a great movie. It's actually going to follow the story of the Flash. It shows the Flash fighting against a bunch of his villains and just handling his business. The JLA helps him defeat all of his villains, and then it goes into the fact that the Flash, just alone in his mind, alone in his thoughts, goes a little crazy, and he actually just goes, without even thinking about it, goes back in time to save his mother from getting killed. And if you haven't read any of the original Flash stuff, Barry Allen's mother gets killed, and later on he becomes the Flash and tries to go back and stop it and change the future. So he goes back, he stops his mother from dying, and then he comes back and he's no longer the Flash. His accident never happened. His mom's alive. all kinds of crazy crap. So he finds, this is one of my favorite movies because he goes to find Batman, his friend. He shows up at Wayne Manor. Wayne Manor is run down. He ends up finding Thomas Wayne, Bruce's father, never got killed. Bruce was actually killed at gunpoint when his parents were supposed to die. Bruce was shot. His mom, out of going insane and going nuts, she becomes the Joker. So she rubs his blood all over her face and she becomes the Joker. Crazy freaking twist. So I mean, watch the movie. It's a great movie. You get to see the Flash versus Thong. So you get to see a lot of Flash versus Anti-Flash fight scene, and it's really cool. And it gets really gruesome because Atlantis and like Wonder Woman and Aquaman are at each other's throats trying to kill each other. Wonder Woman actually kills Aquaman's queen, and so they're having a huge war. Aquaman actually gets like chopped up, and Cyborg and Shazam, instead of being Billy Bastion, Shazam's like 5 kids. I mean, it's just some crazy stuff. Harley Quinn is no longer Harley Quinn. She's like Yo-Yo, and she uses yo-yos to fight you. I mean, it's just a crazy little thought process. If one thing changes, the butterfly effect, that would affect the entire universe. So the Flashpoint Paradox is definitely on my list, number 2. All right. So my number 1 pick for my top animated movie ever is actually going to be Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. It might not be everyone's favorite, but this is my favorite animated movie. I can watch this movie over and over and never get tired of it. If you haven't seen it, basically it gives actually a lot of cool little origin stories, like where Wonder Woman got her invisible jet. Okay, so basically Lex Luthor from a different Earth is fighting up against the crime syndicate, which is like Ultraman, Power Ring, Johnny Quick, Superwoman, and Owlman are the main bosses in the crime syndicate. And him and the Jester, Joker's counterpart, which in this movie, in that Earth, the bad guy or the good guys are the bad guys are the good guys. So Lex Luthor is the leader of the Justice League. And the Jester is one of his last surviving members of his Justice League. So the Jester ends up sacrificing himself to take down the Martian Manhunter counterpart, and end up taking down a couple characters to let Lex Luthor escape. So Lex Luthor travels into our dimension, comes to our Earth, and asks the Justice League for help. Basically walks into a police station and says, "Do you know where I can find Superman?" And they all think it's their Lex Luthor. So Luthor! And so they take his suit. He's just butt naked, waiting in there for Superman and Batman to come in and interrogate him. And he's like, Superman's like, our Luthor's over there in the jail, so he's okay. This isn't our Luthor, you're from a different planet. He's like, okay, how'd you know? And he's like, your organs are reversed. So, okay, let's go, we'll talk and we'll see what we can do. See if we can help you out. Bam, he's like, okay, let's go. And he's like, no, put your pants on. Because he's sitting there butt naked waiting for these guys to get there. So they go up to the Watchtower. They decide to help him. They end up going back to the other Earth to fight Ultraman, Superwoman. They end up having some epic fight scenes. Owlman has an invisible jet, where it has a cloaking device. So Wonder Woman jumps on the jet, punks Owlman for the jet, takes it, picks up the Flash and a couple other people that are flying around and just getting smashed on by the Made Men, which are created superheroes. And in doing so, they get hit by like lightning, and it shorts out the camouflage option on the jet, so it is 100% the invisible jet forever. So I mean, that's where Wonder Woman gets her invisible jet. It's a really cool movie, though. If you haven't seen it, you need to check it out. It's my favorite animated superhero movie ever. So if you haven't checked it out, check it out. But what I want to know from you guys is, what are your top 5 animated movies ever? And I know I'm going to get some very eclectic answers and lots of different options because there's so many great animated movies. The majority, all of mine are DC related because DC has the best, honestly, animated movies out there. Marvel owns the cinematic universe. DC owns the animated universe. So, I want to hear your opinion. What are your top 5 favorite animated movies ever? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like and subscribe to the channel. Give me that big thumbs up on this video. Share me with your awesome friends, and just remember to have fun and nerd out whatever you're doing, and just don't be ashamed of who you are and what you love. You've been watching Nerdsmerized. I'm Andrew, and I will see you guys later.